Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to do a best for each position video. These are kind of my most popular ones. It's kind of a nice gauge. I usually wait a couple weeks for new events to come out and whatnot, but these videos are going to give you the cards to target, in my opinion, for each position, the 4 best that I think. Now, the one thing I need to say to you guys is that you got to remember this is in the context of this video. So we're not really, synergies are going to matter more for some people as opposed to others. Same with play styles. One in particular we're going to talk about that I think is higher on the list than a lot of people will, and it all is going to depend on your play style. So just keep that in mind. It isn't a hard, this card is for sure better than the other one in most cases. It's going to depend on your synergies and your play style. So let's get into the best for each position for February 20th. All right, we'll start first with left-handed forwards, and again, we're going to start with Jack Hughes. He is, in my opinion, number 4 among left-handed forwards. The one thing I want to say is that I don't really include the 93s or the 94s in a lot of these just because they're not really obtainable by a lot of people. So I want to, you know what I mean? If you can obviously get those cards, even better. But in this case, in this video, even with the Blockbuster, I'm only going to include the 93s and then some events down the road that have, been around for a while. You might be able to get the 92s or the higher ones. So, but let's talk about Jack Hughes real quick. Spark, Thief, and Light the Lamp. Thief, not really important, for him, but, for if you're able to activate, that helps. But, this is honestly my favorite forward card I have used all year long. If you watch my streams, there's a couple goals that I score that are only available because of, skill zoning or sitting in front of the net and giving time and space. There's a goal that you can basically do along the goal line that requires a pinpoint accuracy wrist shot, and Jack Hughes just absolutely nips corners. He is unbelievable. His speed, I thought I wouldn't like him as much because he's so small, but he plays perfectly fine. I'm able to evade checkers and whatnot because he's so fast. And then if you have Distributor and Spark on him, he's absolutely electric. So this checks in at number 4 among left-handed forwards. Next up at number 3 is the 94 Connor McDavid, and this applies to either one. I'm not going to say, obviously the primetime one is better because of Barrage and Howitzer, but either one is fine because of just how high end he is regardless. So let's just do the 94 because it's more obtainable. When you get Workhorse activated and Gladiator, this card is unbelievable. You could have this card for the rest of the game and you won't need to get a better Connor McDavid because he maxes out basically everything that is important. Unbelievable card, and one of the best. He always plays better than his stats indicate as well, if that's even possible, but he's 99 hand stats. His shot is incredible. His speed is the best in the game, basically. Don't overthink it. 94 Connor McDavid, an unbelievable left-handed card, and if it wasn't for, some synergies in the builds, he'd probably be the best in my opinion, but there's just a few cards that just slightly edge him out, and again, that's going to be based on play style. All right, so coming in at number 2 is the 93 Matthew Tkachuk. And I'm not going to lie, to be honest, the 94 McDavid is a better card when you remove all the synergies and everything like that. He's just a better card. The thing about this 93 Matthew Tkachuk is that the value that he gives you with these 3 synergies, because, well, obviously it improves his own card, but it's very rare that you have a card that hits 3 important synergies in the game, and when you get everything activated on him, he's got over 90 speed and acceleration when you have Spark and Distributor, and then his shot is basically maxed out. He's able to just dominate in terms of shooting. His stick check and defensive awareness are max, his body checking is almost max, his hand stats are in the high 90s, and he's 6'2", plays a little bit heavier. So you're going to be able to knock people off the puck and hold on to it a little bit better than McDavid. That being said, either one of those, you can flip them. I totally understand arguments for both. It's just that when you take a look at everything, when you include the card with the synergies, all that, I think this 93 Matthew Tkachuk is number 2 among left-handed forwards. And then lastly, among left-handed forwards, it's the 95 Leon Draisaitl, the Team of the Year version. This card is gross in terms of synergies. When you get everything activated on it, and if you have, Spark as well, he's a fine skater. It's enough. He does feel a little sluggish at times. His shot is perfect. His defensive and stick checking are perfect. Hand stats, perfect. Again, it's just a total package. It depends if you have everything activated on him. But once you do, this card doesn't miss. I've scored shots off the rush where it's basically I'll make a one-timer from just inside the blue line on the rush, and I'll be able to hammer it home with Draisaitl. His shot plays better than his stats indicate, and they're already maxed. So just an incredible card. I love it. Again, in the defensive zone, he's elite as well, and his synergies that he provides, fantastic card, and he's my number 1 left-handed winger. Moving on to right-handed wingers, it's still The launch bronze 88 overall Guy LaFleur. This card, like I said, at launch, it's actually kind of, I like the fact that there's cards that you can get day one that are still relevant 5 months into the game. This is a fantastic card. Like, this is the prototype winger card in NHL 21. You get Speedster and Swarm as well, so the both synergies help. When you get Distributor and Spark, his skating's max, basically. His wrist shot is perfect. Just an incredible card, and the only reason that some other cards are beating him now is because, well, as body checking and some of the other things that he takes a little bit of a hit on. But when this card gets his silver and gold, he's going to be the best card there. Like, he's holding off master set items that are 93 and 94, so keep that in mind. Like, if you, we're at a point now where you could go out and I would just buy him, or buy him tradable, because I think it's better than risking the 5 icon collectibles, because if you miss him now, it's detrimental. So I would just buy him for like 300k if you don't have him already. Fantastic card, and when he gets his silver, yikes, that's a GG. Coming in at number 2 is the 91 Mario Lemieux. I have to say this, if you can't get the, obviously you can't get the 91 Mario Lemieux, but I'm just saying this in context. This card is, in my opinion, the third best right-handed winger. If you only have the 89, he falls down a little bit. He would probably be replaced by Pasternak, and Guy LaFleur would move up. So just keep that in mind. But this one, the 91 in particular, just an incredible card. He's 6'4" with max speed. Basically, his acceleration gets up to like 95. His shot is almost perfect. Hand stats almost perfect. The only knock on him is his 82 endurance, and I don't notice it that much. And his body checking, but he's 6'4". When he gets his silver card, he's going to go back up to being the best, in my opinion, just because of the synergies as well. I think Guy LaFleur is a better winger. But in terms of help to your team and size and everything, this is the best card once it gets its silver. But as it stands right now, the 91 Mario Lemieux checks in at number 3 among right-handed wingers. Coming in at number 2 is the 93 Phil Kessel. So obviously perfect shot. That's phenomenal. And he's 93 speed before any synergies. The only knock on this card is the synergies are basically, they're just too protective. They're basically trying to make this card not overpowered, which I understand. So shutdown doesn't even really increase his shot accuracy. Shot blocking is not a stat that you need to care about at all. And then body checking is a little bit nicer that it gets up to 89. And then Gladiator, again, you're wasting with shot power because already max strength is okay. Body checking to 92 is a pretty big increase, I'm not going to lie, in the ability to play defense, but then his defensive stats aren't that great for top-end right-handed cards. It's still very good. But that being said, you can't go wrong with this card. There's so many good right-handed wingers, though. That's the thing. But regardless, just an incredible card, and number 2 on my list among right-handed wingers. And then coming in at number 1 among right-handed wingers is the 93 Steven Stamkos. The reason why I have him, again, above Phil Kessel is his synergy combo. So Spark, very necessary, in my opinion, if you're looking for synergies. Workhorse, incredible. And then Shutdown also does help him. He's not wasting it because his shot accuracy gets up to 98. But all 3 of these are useful synergies. I mean, Shutdown isn't really, but it's easy to activate because so many cards have it. Workhorse on this card is gross. Just a very, very good card. It's one of my favorites to use. He's 6'1", body checking is 94 with everything activated. Just again, like I said, I can't say enough. This is a phenomenal card. If you're able to go and get him, he's the best right-handed winger in the game. You could almost play him at center, 86 faceoffs. I wish it was a little bit higher. Maybe if you had heart and soul, but it's not many people that should or have that activated. But yeah, just an incredible card. The best right-handed winger in the game. Moving on to centerman, we've got the 93 Sidney Crosby from the flashback set. Guys, I told you when I got so many questions about, hey, should I save my collectibles during the flashback event for the next event? I told you guys, if the odds of there being 6 cards that are like among the best in the game being released again in the very next event is so low. So the price jumped back up and stayed really high. The new blockbuster event, almost all of the master items are far cheaper than these ones. So guys, I hope you listened and I hope you made some of these cards because these are incredible. So Sidney Crosby with Speedster gets it to 93 speed before Distributor. His shot is in the mid 90s, and again with team-based synergies, it's great. The reason why the big knock on this card is that, you know, Barrage is good, but it's like one of those secondary team-based synergies. And Thief, Thief makes this is pretty much what determines if this card is among the best or not because of the 98 face-offs. If you can get Thief activated, that's unbelievable. But nonetheless, 93 Sidney Crosby, number 4 among centermen in the game currently. You could use this card all the way to the end of the game, and it won't matter because the face-off rating, and again, just he's very fast and a good shot. So, okay, so number 3, this is what I was talking about earlier in terms of playstyle. There is not a lot of people. The majority of the player base is not going to like Eric Lindros. He's slow. He does not keep up with the play. However, guys, if you are among the top players in the game, there is a reason why the big guys are so useful. And that's because they hold onto the puck. It's impossible to knock off, especially at center in the defensive zone. Eric Lindros is overpowered, and his synergy combo is really good. But again, my viewership is, outside of that. Most of my viewers are in those middle divisions, and again, without knowing perfect positioning and where you should be all the time, it's going to be tough to use Eric Lindros the correct way and not, have him be burned on 2-on-1s and things like that. But nonetheless, I just wanted to mention that because the real number 3 is the 93 Mike Fisher. This is basically just a little bit better version of Sidney Crosby. He's a little bit bigger at 6'1". He is a little bit slower, but again, I'll take the size for a little bit of speed on center. He's got 93 faceoffs. Again, Thief will put Crosby ahead in terms of faceoff, but 93 is fine. He's got a max wrist shot power. Swarm is good. Not big on passing playmaker, but again, you might be able to have it activated. But Swarm and Speedster, reasons he edges him out. But yeah, just a really good centerman card, and he checks in at number 3 among centers in the game. Number 2 is going to be the 92 of Flashback Jonathan Toews. Comes with Distributor and Workhorse. Workhorse is really what makes him overpowered, in my opinion, because he gets a 92 acceleration, and balance and endurance are basically max before Spark. So that's really good. His shot is in the low to mid 90s, but it's really his defense where he excels. 90 body checking, he's 6'2", with 98 stick checking and defensive awareness and faceoffs. You will never have to replace this card if you're able to get him. Incredible card. I'm not a big Jonathan Toews fan because I'm a Sharks fan. I've watched him win cups and beat up on my Sharks for so long. But nonetheless, this is a phenomenal card and the number 2 center currently in the game. And if you got him, it won't matter because he's max faceoff and fast, and the only thing that you can improve upon is his shot. And again, with centermen, you're going to find that you're not taking as many shots with them as you are your wingers. And then number 1, pretty much for the rest of the game, the 93 Sean Couturier is the number 1 center still in the game. 6'3", that's elite size. 2 to Spark, 1 to and 1 to work or Howitzer. Sorry, you get Distribute. He's got 94 speed. And then basically 95 faceoffs, 96 body checking. Defensively with stick checking, defensive awareness, those are elite. Howitzer makes his shot in the high 90s. Like, this is one of the best cards to use. It's super powerful, and it's available to everyone other than the Myers. I know that part I really hate, and I've been letting them know in the Game Changer chat that I hope they get away from that kind of player gating so that you can't upgrade them. But nonetheless, don't overthink it. If you do not have this card and you come to me with a question about, hey, what should I do next for my team? It is maxing out Sean Couturier. That's it. The most important position in this game, and he's elite at it. So go and get him. He's a great card, and he's the number 1 center in the game, in my opinion. Moving on to right-handed defenseman, coming in at number 3 is the 92 Philippe Myers still. I use this card. He is incredible. Don't let his speed fool you. On defense, having someone this big and his speed is actually pretty good. Like, I don't notice him being super sluggish. Is just so valuable. When you get into your own zone and you're trying to knock someone off the puck, it's so easy to do it with this card, as well as defending the blue line. It's so much harder to get around giants. That's why big, tall defensemen are so valuable in this game. Wingman makes his acceleration 90 before Spark, which is huge, and then obviously with Distributor gets up to 90. Shutdown is great. If you can get Barrage on this card, it maxes out his shot. I don't have Barrage. That makes this card absolutely insane because on offense, he's also really valuable as well. But yeah, coming in at number 3, the best right-handed defenseman. Next up is the 92 Team of the Year, Cale Makar. And honestly, if you can't get this Cale Makar and you're looking for someone, the 92 Carlson is still very good. He's just a slightly worse version of this card currently. But obviously, his synergies are kind of what holds him back. But 2 to Barrage. If you get Barrage activated, that makes this card elite for sure. Not that it isn't already. Speed and acceleration are 93 before anything. His agility and being able to deke and whatnot is basically maxed as well. Just a really good card. Comes in at 5'11", but he has 89 body checking, and if you get Gladiator activated, just makes him that much better. It honestly is a kind of important synergy to activate on this card. Plus, he has 2 to it, so it's a lot easier. But nonetheless, a very, very good card, and comes in at number 2 among right-handed defensemen. And then number 1 is the 93 Dougie Hamilton. So obviously his synergies are what holds him back. But again, 6'6" is just so valuable. His acceleration is 90 before anything. Speed is 89. So you can get his acceleration and speed above 90 with synergies. His shot is great. If you get Light the Lamp on, it helps his wrist shot. And Shutdown helps his slap shot. Again, Light the Lamp isn't important. Either is Shutdown. But again, it's easy to activate. Balance isn't a very good synergy. That's what kind of holds him back in terms of synergies. But nonetheless, stick checking, defense awareness, body checking. He's 6'6". I use this card, and he's unbelievable. Don't overthink this one, guys. He is a very, very good card. The best right-handed defenseman in the game. And honestly, even though his speed will, fall down quite a bit as the game goes on in terms of other cards being high, it won't matter because you can't make an attribute for 6'6". So great card, and the number 1 right-handed defenseman. Coming in at number 3 among left-handed defensemen is the 93 Victor Hedman. So I have this card as well, 6'6". Again, just like I said with Dougie Hamilton, it makes it so much harder to get into your zone when you have these behemoths back there. Spark is a great synergy, gets him to 90 acceleration. Speed gets to 90 with Distributor. His shot is great at 96 power, 89 shot accuracy, and with Shutdown, it helps it even more. Body checking's maxed. Stick checking, defense awareness maxed. Hand stats are high. Very, very good card. It comes in at number 3, and he will be the best right or left-handed defenseman as the game goes on because he'll just keep going up and up. A great card. Coming in at number 2 is the 93 Oscar KLEFBOM, 6'4" with Distributor, passing playmaker, and workhorse. Again, just size, speed, and shot does everything. Like, this is a phenomenal card. I don't want to say it's overpowered because his speed is in the low 90s. Eventually, that'll become, old and extinct, but he is 6'4", so he's not quite as big as the other guys, but his shot is 96 power, 92 accuracy. If you have passing playmaker, that increases it. Defensively, great as well. Body checking, 93. Stick checking, defensive awareness are very, very high. So an all-around great card, does help out with your synergies, so he comes in at number 2 among left-handed defensemen. And then number 1, personal preference. This is one of the best skating cards I've used all year long. 6'2", all over EKMAN-LARSSON. Swarm, Gladiator, and Wingman. I don't have Gladiator activated on him, but, you get his acceleration up to 97, basically. His speed's 94 with synergies. His slap shot's phenomenal. Stick checking, defense awareness are maxed. 91 body checking. And then it's his hand stats. Like, I'm able to make L2 dekes and whatnot with a 6'2" gigantic guy from the back end. Just a phenomenal card, and he comes in as a number 1 left-handed defenseman currently for me in the game. And then on to goaltenders. The backup, number 2 would be the 92 Justice and Noonan. I've played this card every so often. His synergies are great other than Heart and Soul, but it's his low aggression with the fact that he's 6'4" and all of his stats don't have stat caps on them. So again, the taller you get, the lower that some of your stats will be, but the master items don't apply to that. So there's a lot of people out there that notice him. This card is phenomenal. Hits all the boxes, and just, all around great card. He checks in at number 2. And then number 1, in my opinion, is still the 93 Joonas Korpisalo. So 6'3", 77 aggression, and then all of his other stats are perfect. He has Distributor and Swarm. The only reason that he edges out Marc-Andre Fleury is that aggression. It's only 3 lower, but it is just the tiebreaker. Phenomenal card all the way around, though, and he is the number 1 goaltender just based on stats, guys. And again, I would never buy goaltenders. I would never recommend to buy goaltenders like this. I have the Vasilevsky, but that's just because, I play this game way too much, and obviously the synergy prison value is extreme in Vasilevsky, but nonetheless, I wouldn't recommend buying these guys, but if you're absolutely hut stacked and all of your other cards are in order, then this would be the number 1 goaltender based on his attributes. So guys, that'll do it for the best for each position. Let me know what you think in the comments section down below, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for daily NHL content. I'll see you tomorrow. Have a good one, guys.